The sun was shining bright over the city that Monday morning, and the roads were already busy with people rushing to work. But in a small three-bedroom flat in Surulere, Lagos, four young ladies sat in the living room, chatting, laughing, and scrolling through their phones. They had just finished their NYSC, the one-year service that every Nigerian graduate must do. They were finally free from khaki uniforms and early morning parade. Now they were looking for real jobs, good jobs, office jobs that came with AC, free lunch, and salaries that made people say, wow. Ada sat on the couch, her phone in one hand and a cup of tea in the other. "I'm tired of sitting at home, she said, scrolling through job posts. "I studied mass communication for 4 years. I didn't suffer in Unilag just to end up selling recharge card." Bissy rolled her eyes. She was the fashionista of the group. Her nails were long and pink, her wig was always on point, and her English had a foreign twist. "Me, I cannot work in any company that does not have glass doors and AC. Imagine suffering in school only to end up as a secretary with one old laptop." Kemi, the one who always had her phone on record, was already doing a day-in-my-life vlog. She turned the camera to her face. "Hi guys, so today we're talking about job hunting after NYSC. Honestly, the struggle is real, but we move." Tonya laughed from the corner of the room. She was loud, funny, and always had something sarcastic to say. "You people are talking like job go fall from heaven. Me, I just a look. If one man like Dangote just marry me now, I go delete my CV." They all burst into laughter. Even though they joked a lot, they were serious about finding a job. Every day, they sent CVs to different companies. Some replied, most didn't. The ones that replied either invited them for unpaid internships or asked them to work with commission only, no base salary. It was frustrating. "I saw one new company online," Ada said, suddenly serious. "They posted that they're hiring new staff. No experience needed. The pay is between $150 to $250K. All eyes turned to her. "Are you serious?" Bissy asked, sitting up quickly. "Very serious. The company is called Harper & Co. They just opened a new branch on the island. I already applied last night." "Send the link," Kemi shouted. "Let me apply now." Ada sent the link, and within minutes, all four girls had applied. "I heard they have one Oga that is very rich, but private," Tonya said as she typed her application. "No social media presence. People say he started from nothing. Whether he's rich or not, I just want to get in and start making money," Ada said. That evening, they all prayed about the job. Not because they were extremely religious, but because they were desperate. They needed something better. They were tired of hearing "we'll get back to you" or attending interviews where they were treated like beggars. The next morning, Ada received an email. "Interview invite, Harper & Co." She screamed so loudly that her mother came running from the kitchen. "What happened?" "Mommy, they called me for interview." Before she could celebrate too much, her phone rang. It was Bissy. "Babe, I got the interview too." Kemi and Tonya got their own invites later that same day. It turned out that all four girls had been shortlisted. But the interesting part, each girl was given a different date and time. The company didn't want them to come together. "I love this already," Bissy said. "It means they are organized." "Beg, just wear your best cloth and slay," Kemi added. "First impression matters." The group chat was buzzing with energy the next morning. Ada had already ironed her gown. Bissy was trying on her third wig. Kemi was setting up her phone stand to record her interview morning routine, and Tonya was practicing her fake smile in the mirror. The four girls were excited. For the first time since completing NYSC, they felt like they had a real shot. Harper & Co. looked promising. The website was sleek, the office photos looked clean and modern, and the salary range mentioned in the job post was no joke. Even if they started on the lower side, it was still better than nothing. The interview times were spread out across 3 days. Ada's was first. BC followed the next morning. Then Kemi. Tonya's was on the last day. The girls promised to share every detail after each person's interview. That afternoon, the group chat lit up again. Ada: "Girls, I just got back. The place is mad, oh. Very fine building. AC was blowing me from the gate." Tonya: "Tell us everything, Jor. I hope they gave you drink." "No drink, but the place is clean. Very quiet, too. You'll like it, BC." BC: "Tell me how you dressed. I don't want to overdress or underdress." Ada: "Wear that peach gown you wore to that wedding last month. Perfect look." Kemi: "Did you see the boss?" "No, but one useless cleaner was forming busy. He even asked me if I was here for the interview. I just hissed and walked past him. Is he the receptionist?" Tonya: "Cleaner, Kay. Don't go and be greeting everybody anyhow. People will start thinking you're their level." They all laughed in the chat. It wasn't meant to be wicked, or so they thought. In their minds, they were just acting normal, confident, even smart. After all, they had degrees. They had dreams of driving big cars and working in glass offices. Talking to cleaners or security guards felt like a waste of time. The next day, BC wore the peach gown as advised and arrived at Harper & Co. 30 minutes early. The building did not disappoint. White tiles, clean glass doors, and a sweet scent of lemon in the air. As she walked in, she saw the cleaner, a tall, dark-skinned man with worn brown shoes, a mop bucket beside him. He smiled gently and said, "Good morning, ma'am." BC looked at him briefly, then adjusted her bag. "I'm here for the interview," she said, not answering his greeting. He nodded slowly. "I know. You're a bit early. Can I ask?" She cut him off, waving her hand in the air. "Please don't disturb me. I'm preparing my mind." Then she turned and walked to the reception. Back at the girls' apartment later that day, they sat in a circle, laughing and sharing gist. "Man, if that cleaner ever becomes anything in life, I'll eat my shoe," BC said. "Which one?" Kemi asked. "That same man with the faded uniform?" "Yes," BC replied. "I don't even know why he was asking me questions like he's HR. He should go and clean his mop." They laughed again. Tonya took it a step further. "If it's me, I won't even stand near him. I don't like when dirty people try to talk to me." "But the building is clean," Ada said, "so maybe he's doing a good job." "Yes, but he should know his place," BC snapped. Over the next 2 days, Kemi and Tonya also went for their interviews. Each one met the same cleaner. Each one treated him like air, or worse. Kemi posted a short video on her Instagram story later that day. "Lagos interviews be like. You pass cleaner, pass gate man, pass receptionist, and still no see manager. Nawa." It was 9 a.m. on a cool Tuesday morning when Ada arrived at the office of Harper & Co. for her interview. The building stood tall with shiny glass windows that reflected the early morning sun. The sign at the entrance gleamed with bold silver letters, and the security man at the gate gave a polite nod as she walked in. Ada was dressed to impress, a smart navy blue gown that hugged her curves, matching heels, and a red handbag that swung confidently on her shoulder. She had applied a light touch of makeup and wore her favorite perfume. She knew she looked good, and she intended to act like it. As she stepped into the reception area, the cool breeze from the AC brushed against her face. The lobby was quiet, peaceful, and smelled of air freshener and polished tiles. There were a few staff walking around, but none looked like they were in charge. Then, from the corner of the room, a man in a faded blue uniform and rubber shoes pushed a mop bucket slowly toward her. He looked like he had just finished cleaning the hallway. "Good morning," he said with a small smile. "Are you here for the interview?" Ada looked him up and down. She didn't like the way he smiled. It felt too familiar. "Yes," she replied, adjusting her handbag, "but I'm not lost. I know where I'm going." "I didn't say you were lost," he said calmly. "Just wanted to ask how you're feeling about the interview." Ada narrowed her eyes. "Why does that concern you? Are you the receptionist?" "No, I'm not," he answered, still smiling. "Just wanted to wish you good luck." Ada didn't say thank you. She turned her face away, rolled her eyes, and walked straight to the receptionist's desk. She didn't know that the man with the mop was Mr. Samuel Harper, the CEO of Harper & Co. She didn't know he had written something in the small notebook he carried in his pocket. Confident but rude, doesn't respect unknown staff. The next day, Bisi's turn came. She arrived in a peach-colored gown with long curly hair and bright red lipstick. She looked elegant and serious, just as she had planned. As she entered the building, she noticed the same cleaner. He was wiping the glass doors at the entrance. He paused, looked at her, and said with a nod, "You look ready. You must be one of the applicants." Bisi gave him a stiff smile and said, "Yes, but I don't think I need your opinion." He stepped aside without a word. When she reached the reception, she whispered to the lady at the front desk, "Your cleaner talks too much. Doesn't he know his place?" The receptionist gave a polite smile, but her eyes showed surprise. Mr. Harper watched from behind a frosted glass wall, his notepad already in his hand. Prideful, looks down on others, no patience. Later that afternoon, Kemi came in. She had a ring light in her bag and had recorded her entire morning routine, from brushing her teeth to zipping her dress. Her followers were going to see everything. When she got to the office, the cleaner was again nearby, this time arranging chairs in the waiting area. "Young lady," he said softly, "are you here for the interview too?" Kemi didn't even remove her earphones. She gave a quick nod, looked him over from head to toe, and said, "Yes, please don't delay me. I need to get this over with fast. I have another meeting." Mr. Harper quietly scribbled in his notebook again. Rushed, dismissive, zero respect. On the last day, Tonia came for hers. She was the loudest of the four. As she walked into the building, she was already on the phone with a friend.
"Bo, this place fine die. If them no hire me, na their loss." She saw the cleaner standing by the corridor and jokingly said into the phone, "Even their cleaner they form gentle. I hope I won't have to greet him to get hired." Mr. Harper heard every word. He simply looked at her and smiled. "Are you Tonia?" he asked kindly. "Yes," she said, sounding surprised. "All right," he nodded. "Welcome. You can take a seat. The HR will be with you soon." He didn't take offense. He only opened his book again. Arrogant, thinks everyone beneath her. All four girls had now completed their interviews. Each one was formally interviewed by the HR manager, who smiled and took notes. But in truth, the final decision wasn't up to her. It had already been made. Mr. Harper didn't care much about how their CVs looked or which university they attended. He cared more about how they treated people, especially the ones they thought didn't matter. And they had all failed that simple test. They thought they were just talking to a cleaner. They thought job interviews only started when you sat across a desk with someone in a suit. They didn't know the real interview had begun the moment they walked through the door. The week after the interviews was full of excitement. All four girls had received emails saying, "Congratulations, you have been selected." They didn't even care what roles they were given. All they saw was the name Harper & Co. and the sweet promise of monthly salary. On Monday morning, Ada, Bisi, Kemi, and Tonia all showed up at the office dressed like queens. Heels clicking, perfume floating, and makeup perfectly done. They were ready to pepper the office. Each one was posted to a different department. Ada was sent to the Public Relations Unit, Bisi to Administration, Kemi to Social Media Management, and Tonia to Customer Service. At first, they were confused that they had been placed in separate sections, but they told themselves it was a good thing. "We'll just meet during break and gossip," Bisi said with a wink. What they didn't know was that it was all part of the plan. Mr. Harper had given each of them a job, but not for the usual reasons. He didn't hire them for their skills. He hired them to see if their attitude would improve once they were inside. He wanted to give them a second chance. Each department had cameras, not just for security, but for monitoring employee behavior. And the cleaner? He was still there, mopping quietly in the mornings, sweeping during lunch hour, and walking silently through the halls. None of the girls gave him a second glance. In fact, they continued to ignore him. When Ada passed him in the hallway, she always held her breath like he was carrying dirt. Kemi would turn her face to her phone as if he didn't exist. Tonya once hissed and said to another staff member, "That cleaner smells like mop water." And BC? She was the loudest. She once asked out loud, "Must this man clean during office hours? Can't they hide him till we close?" The other workers in the office noticed the girl's behavior, but no one said anything. After all, they were still new, and Mr. Harper had not said a word. What the girls didn't know was that their desks, their chats, even their whispered gossip, everything was being monitored. Every day during lunch break, they would sneak off from their desks and meet in the empty conference room to gist. "Ada," Tonya said one day, chewing plantain chips, "this work is not even hard. Most of the staff are slow. Me, I just pretend to type."
"Same here," Bissy added. "I just scroll through Instagram and minimize it when someone passes." "I post like 2 stories per day and log off," Kemi said proudly. "They don't know I'm a content queen." Then they would laugh, mock the other staff, and throw in 1 or 2 rude comments about the mop guy. It became a daily routine. They would disappear from their desks, spend 30 to 40 minutes chatting, and return acting tired, as if they were working all day. One Friday afternoon, Mr. Harper walked past their departments. None of the girls noticed. He was dressed in his usual cleaner uniform, quiet, simple, and unnoticed. He looked at their empty desks. He smiled. Later that evening, in the staff meeting room, the operations manager walked in and said, "We'd like to thank all our new staff for their work this week. The director has been observing everyone closely." Some staff members clapped lightly. The 4 girls sat at the back, whispering to each other and giggling. "Director that we've never even seen," Ada said under her breath. Tonya replied, "Maybe he's shy, or one of those old rich men with potbelly and glasses." They laughed again. But the joke was about to end, because the following Monday, something big was coming. A meeting had been scheduled for 10 a.m. sharp. Monday morning arrived with fresh office air and a warning tone none of the girls noticed. They came in one after the other, wearing stylish work outfits as usual. Kemi rocked high-waist trousers with heels so high she could barely walk in them. Bissy's dress looked more like something from a party. Ada had a loud pink lipstick that screamed confidence, while Tonya wore her usual sunglasses, yes, inside the building. They all believed the same lie. As long as you looked important, you were important. Each of them walked into their separate offices like celebrities arriving on set. No greetings to the cleaner who held the front door open. No good morning to the receptionist. Not even a nod to the security man who saluted them daily. They felt on top of the world. They had jobs now. They were inside. But the inside was watching them more closely than they ever imagined. That week, their true characters started to show. Ada spent most of her time in the public relations unit doing everything except her actual job. She would post updates on WhatsApp like "work mode activated," but in real life, she was watching movies on her office computer. Every few hours, she would sneak into Bissy's office for gist. Bissy's own department didn't stand a chance. She hardly stayed in her seat. She was always either on the phone, talking loudly, or walking from one office to another, spreading gossip. Kemi said her supervisor smells like onions, she whispered one afternoon to Ada. Ew, Ada replied, laughing. No wonder that man is always alone. Meanwhile, Kemi was busy in her department, creating fake engagement on her personal TikTok account instead of handling the company's actual social media page. She had even started using the company's Wi-Fi to upload her skits. One video she posted was captioned, "When your boss thinks you're working, but you're watching Netflix with one eye." She didn't know that the company's IT system monitored all uploads. Tonya in the customer service section did worse. She would answer only the first few emails in the morning and then use the rest of her day to watch Nollywood movies. One customer even sent a complaint email about her rude response, but she didn't care. "It's not my father's company," she told Bissy. Each time the cleaner passed by, they mocked him with their eyes. Sometimes Kemi would whisper, "That man again, is he following me?"
Tanya once said loudly, "This cleaner acts like he's the chairman of the building, always monitoring." They didn't know they were right. He was the chairman. He was monitoring. Every movement, every break, every disappearing act caught on camera. Mr. Harper had installed CCTV cameras in every department, every hallway, even the conference room where the girls met during lunch breaks to gossip. And every week, he watched the footage like a quiet teacher watching students cheat during exams. He saw how Ada barely worked and walked around like a boss. He saw Bisi switch tabs whenever her supervisor walked past. He saw Kemi record videos while giggling to herself. He saw Tanya reply customers with one-line emails and laugh about it later. What pained him the most was not even the laziness, it was the disrespect. The way they talked about others, the way they treated him when he wore the cleaner's uniform, the way they looked down on people just because they thought they were more important. He had given them all a second chance, and they wasted it. He had tested their hearts, and they failed. The final straw came that Friday afternoon when all 4 girls were caught on camera in the conference room again, laughing loudly. "A beg, I no come here to suffer," Tanya said with her shoes off. "This work, Seth, is just cruise." "My friend said this company belongs to one ghost," Ada added. "Nobody has seen the CEO. Maybe he doesn't exist." "If he does, he's probably some old man hiding in one office," Bisi joked. Then they all turned to Kemi, who was watching the security camera above them. "Babe, is this thing working?" Kemi waved it off. "Please, it's just for decoration. No one is watching." She was wrong. Monday morning came with tension in the air, the kind of silence that makes even confident people feel small. Everyone in Harper & Co. had received an email the night before. All staff must attend an important meeting at 9 a.m. in the main boardroom. No excuses. Attendance is compulsory. Management. At exactly 8:45 a.m., staff began to walk in. The boardroom, which was usually quiet, was already buzzing. Some people sat in silence, others whispered questions. "Do you think we're getting bonuses?" one man asked. "Maybe there's a new branch opening," another said. But Ada, Bisi, Kemi, and Tanya were not bothered. They arrived 10 minutes late, laughing loudly as they entered the room in a row, looking like celebrities walking into a show. "A beg, what's the rush?" Ada whispered, flipping her wig stylishly. "Even the so-called director won't mind. After all, he never shows face," Bisi replied. They found 4 empty seats and settled in, still chewing gum and scrolling their phones. But today, things were different. The HR manager walked in first, looking serious. Then came the receptionist, then the security man. Even the cleaners were present, except one. Everyone was seated. Then the door at the far end of the room opened, and in walked the man they all thought they knew, the humble cleaner with the faded uniform and quiet smile. But he wasn't holding a mop today. He was wearing a sleek navy blue suit, polished shoes, and a gold wristwatch.
His steps were calm, sure, and powerful. Behind him walked two senior managers and the company lawyer. A hush fell across the room. Even the girls, who had been whispering a moment ago, froze. The man walked to the head of the table, adjusted the microphone, and looked around the room. Then he spoke. "Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me by name, my name is Mr. Samuel Harper. I am the director and CEO of Harper & Co." Gasps filled the room. The girls looked at one another in shock. Tonia's mouth was wide open. Kemi dropped her phone. Bisi's face lost all its color. Ada gripped the chair arm tightly. Mr. Harper smiled, the same soft smile he gave them the first time they met him, when they thought he was just a cleaner. "I know many of you are confused. You've seen me cleaning floors, carrying mops, opening doors. You assumed I was just a janitor. But that was the point." He paused, letting the silence do the talking. "You see," he continued, "character is not built in front of a camera or inside a suit. It is shown in how you treat people you think are beneath you." He picked up a file from the table and held it up. "This folder contains weeks of footage from the CCTV cameras. Every action, every word, every break you took, every customer you ignored, every time you mocked your fellow staff, and yes, even every time you insulted me thinking I was just the cleaner." The girls were now trembling. "I gave 4 of you a chance," he said, turning directly to Ada, Bisi, Kemi, and Tonya. "Not because of your qualifications, but because I believed in second chances. I believed maybe your behavior outside the interview was just a mistake." He opened the file and read out loud. "Ada, regularly absent from desk, rude to staff, disrespectful to customers. Bisi, gossiping during work hours, distracting others, disrespectful to cleaner. Kemi, using company Wi-Fi for personal social media, filming during office hours. Tonya, ignoring customers, mocking staff, repeated lateness." Each name hit like a hammer. Every staff member stared at them in disbelief. Mr. Harper shut the file. "You had your chance, but you used your time here to gossip, to mock, and to show pride. And now?" He turned to his HR manager and gave a small nod. The HR manager stood. "Effective immediately," she said firmly. "You 4 are hereby dismissed from Harper & Co. All access cards revoked. No salary will be paid for this month. Please return all company property before you leave the premises today." "No," Kemi whispered. "Sir, please." "Sir, it was just small fun," Bisi added, tears already in her eyes. Ada stood up. "We didn't mean to, please." "I meant every word," Tonya said in a weak voice. "But I didn't know." Mr. Harper looked at them kindly, but firmly. "You didn't know I was the CEO. But what if I really was just a cleaner? Would that make it okay to treat me like trash?" None of them could answer. Security officers walked forward slowly. The 4 girls picked up their bags, now looking nothing like the confident ladies who walked in earlier. They left the boardroom quietly. No makeup could cover their shame. And just like that, they were back on the street. No job, no salary, no pride. Only regret. Mr. Harper looked at the rest of the staff. "Let this be a lesson," he said. "You don't rise by stepping on others. You rise by lifting others up, or at least respecting them." It had been 3 weeks since the boardroom disaster. 3 long, quiet, and shameful weeks for Ada, Bisi, Kemi, and Tonya. The day they were sacked from Harper & Co. felt like a bad dream. But every morning they woke up, reality slapped them hard in the face. The job they had bragged about online? Gone. The salary they had already imagined spending? Never arrived. Even worse, word had gotten out. Lagos is big, but bad news travels fast. Friends they once looked down on now looked down on them.
Messages stopped coming in. Calls were ignored. Nobody wanted to associate with the girls who mocked the cleaner and got disgraced. Ada stayed in her room most days. Her once lively WhatsApp stories became dry. She deleted the office selfie she had posted weeks earlier, where she stood beside the company logo pretending to be in charge. She couldn't bring herself to update her status anymore. Bisi's mood had gone from bubbly to broken. She tried to laugh it off at first. "It's just a small setback," she told herself. "I'll find another job in no time." But after the 5th rejection email, even her mother noticed something was wrong. Kemi deleted all her skits. The confidence she had once shown on TikTok disappeared. Every time she scrolled social media and saw someone in an office outfit or talking about Monday motivation, her heart sank. She had joked that the CCTV cameras were just for decoration. Now she wished she could go back in time. Tonya was perhaps the worst hit. She had told everyone in her compound that she was now a big girl working in a top firm. She even borrowed money to buy clothes for the job. Now, those same clothes sat in her wardrobe untouched. Her landlady knocked one morning asking for rent. She had no money to pay. The 4 girls hadn't spoken much since that day. Shame kept them apart. But one hot afternoon, they all found themselves standing at the same spot, outside a company gate in Yaba. Another job interview. They saw each other and froze. None of them looked as bright as before. Their makeup was faded, shoes dusty, and clothes worn out. The confidence they used to wear like perfume was gone. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Kemi looked at them and said quietly, "You people came too?" Bisi gave a small nod. "Yeah, I need something, anything." Tonya sighed. "I'm tired of staying home." Ada looked down. "Me too." There was a pause. Then Ada added, "I still remember the look on Mr. Harper's face when he removed that cleaner uniform." Kemi nodded slowly. "He gave us a chance. We messed it up." Bisi's voice cracked. "We were so proud. Too proud." Tonya blinked back tears. "We judged him by his job, not his heart." Just then, the company gate opened and a few applicants walked in. A security man pointed at the 4 of them. "Are you people here for the interview or reunion?" They quickly dusted their clothes and joined the queue. But this time, something had changed. They greeted the cleaner who was sweeping the entrance. They smiled at the receptionist, even thanked the security man. Inside the interview hall, they sat quietly. No chewing gum, no gossip, no rolling eyes. They had learned something that no university could teach: respect, humility, and the truth that no job is too small and no person is beneath you. They didn't know if they would get this new job, but they knew one thing: they would never make the same mistake again.
And if Mr. Harper ever saw them again, they wanted him to see 4 girls who had fallen hard, but had finally grown up. Do you love stories that teach deep life lessons like this? Click subscribe and never miss a powerful story again. More inspiring tales are coming. Don't be the last to hear them.